guys, oh my Godzilla back here with a very exciting Jurassic figure review for you guys today. We are looking at the Jurassic World Rumble and Rampage Distortus Rex. I think this is a really cool look at this new upcoming dinosaur from the upcoming film. Very excited to see how they utilize this guy in the movie. But other than that, very cool design, a very cool figure, pretty sizable. And guys, I'm excited to jump right in.
Oh my god!
Jumping back to when this figure was inside the packaging, as you can see, we have a nice open face packaging. Rumble and Rampage Distortus Rex. We do have the Try Me button there, just kind of your usual logos and whatnot. Flipping the figure around, we do have some pretty cool little blurbs here. Feel free to read. You have the little scan to unlock, slash attack, rage and roar, all sorts of cool stuff along the packaging. Last thing I wanted to show you guys, bottom of the packaging, guys. Go ahead and stop the video, screenshot this, grab that barcode if you need it. That barcode will let you track down the figure. You can show that to employees in the store, have them scan it, see if they have any figures in the back or anything if they're not out on the floor. So good luck hunting down your Distortus Rex. And we are back with the Rumble and Rampage Distortus Rex. Again, very sizable figure. Going ahead and starting off with some measurements. Head to tail, going to measure about 20 inches long and just over 9 inches high at kind of the edge of the back here. So pretty good sized figure. Again, the Jurassic line is seemingly very random with the scaling of their lines. Everything seems to confuse me. I'm definitely more of a novice to the Jurassic World figures. So if anybody knows how they do kind of the scaling of more of these the figures that are all over the place, let me know, because everything seems to be very, very random. But guys, we have a great looking figure here in this Distortus Rex. A very cool design that I'm definitely excited to see more of in the film. Let's start off taking a look at some paint and detail. We're going to start down at the bottom of the foot. Great painted toe claws. They look really good. A little bit of detail even on them. Bottoms of the feet got the Jurassic logo and the little DNA thing, so that's cool. And then moving up the up the leg here, we do have great texture. Nice little here. Everything's on the top of the foot, kind of like the intricate vein work there. Looks good. Moving up the body, got good calf muscle. Moving up into the thigh, it looks good as well. And there is almost like a little peppered, you got this tan color that's the majority of the figure, but you have like a peppered, this little flaky, darker color. So I think that adds a little bit to the figure. Definitely better than just doing a straight tan. That would have been a little bit boring to see. And it almost looks like a little bit of graying on the back, like a little bit of shading almost looks like it makes its way in between these kind of ridges that we see moving down the body. Scars across the whole tail. That's pretty cool to see. Definitely intricate design work on that. A very short, stubby little tail, I think, considered how big this figure is. Pretty small tail. I don't know how much of that's kind of going into the figure. Maybe this dinosaur just has a small tail, but maybe they just did it so it could fit in the box better. This all did come connected. A lot of these figures have come where you had to build them, but this did all come as one piece. You do have the button up here. We'll take a look at the effect later. I'm also a fan of how they introduced the brown from the tan. It kind of starts off as a speckled and then takes over the majority of the body. They do a good job of kind of introducing that along the sides of the body as well. Some more texture and detail, as well as some of those kind of scars. You can see lots of, this guy's taking some battle damage, so that is cool to see. Moving into the arms, again, same with that tan kind of introducing itself. A little bit of a lighter tan in this little belt here. Good detail and texture on the arms. Unfortunately, the front hand claws and the little T-Rex hands, they did not paint the hand claws, which is a little disappointing because that would really make these pop if that was black, especially these underarm hands. If there was the black claws, would have just kind of brought some more attention to them, which I think would have been very cool to see. Moving into the head though, more great detail, very bulky head. I like how they have these kind of little notches everywhere. The eyes, I like how they're kind of still with that brown kind of introduced to it. Kind of makes the eyes look a little sunken in. And it makes that orange pop really, really well. Moving into the mouth. The teeth, again, same with all these figures. They're not going to hurt anybody. They're very soft. We do have good detail on the tongue, though. You can see a lot of detail there. Top of the mouth has a tiny bit of detail, not much. But the tongue is pretty littered with detail, which is great to see. Got the little nostrils there on the front of the face. Let's take a look at the figure from the front. I don't know how this guy goes about seeing much, but looking straight on. Maybe he can't. Maybe we'll hear about some of that in the film. That'd be interesting if they explored that. And then the hand poses are very interesting because it almost looked like we saw this figure knuckle walking in the trailers. So interesting to see him kind of with a flat foot. For some reason, this totally reminds me of when we see Buckbeak in Harry Potter. I do not know why, but it totally just reminds me like the front leg. This does not look like it should be a front leg. So that I don't know. But then he's got this other hand, which is actually kind of cool. It's in a perfect pose for him to chomp down, like bring his hand up with something in his hand there and chomp down on it. It would have been cool if this came with a little figure that fit in the hand there. That would have been pretty darn perfect. Let's check out some articulation on this figure. Again, we'll start in the back here. We do have some spin out of these feet, and this was the same deal as a couple of the other figures we've seen. where it has like a little insert that goes in, and the foot in the packaging was actually turned around backwards. So, and part of the way you have to take it out of the packaging, you have to like turn the foot and unlock that little key thing. So it's a very interesting design choice that they do that. So we do get some bend on the foot. The leg, you don't get a ton of articulation. You can go from about here to there. So, and again, it's not really overly posable. It's more of like what I call kind of like the click articulation, where it's like, it's either there or there or there. There's not really in between posing. It's just kind of in a couple kind of determined positions. The arms, front arm here goes from about there to back, but flipping him around, take a look at this arm, back to front, and this arm does get some, it moves out pretty wide, and this arm kind of moves when you activate the thing that we'll take a look at in a moment here. Top of the head, he does have a chomping motion that you can use independent of the button, which is on his tail again. So that's kind of fun. Again, you could do it with where he goes to bring the guy to his mouth. That's kind of cool. And then these arms, interesting enough with these little T-Rex arms, they have articulation. They go from up to down, but they don't hold anything. They just kind of sit there. So when he does his effect, they kind of wiggle around like crazy. But it's interesting to see it like not posable. Like I can't hold a pose. They just kind of sit there. Let's take a look at the effect. So again, it's on the back of the tail here. We'll go ahead and just press it. So cool to hear the roar of the Distortus Rex. We'll see how film accurate that is. Take one more look from this side. I don't know how I feel about the crazy like seizure he has. That's interesting. It would have been cool if we saw something, a little different with more of a roar to it rather than just the crazy like back and forth spaz attack that he has. Interesting they decided to go with that. I wonder if that somehow ties into the film. Like maybe this figure or maybe this character in the film, because he's so mutated or whatever, maybe he has like weird spazzy things. That'd be interesting if they explored that. But that's what the toy looks like. That's what the effect looks like on the toy. One more time. We are gonna cruise through some sizings on this figure. This is the Lab Lockdown T-Rex. Like I said, with the Jurassic stuff, I have no idea how the scaling works within this line, but it'd be interesting to see if this could be a scaling that we see Rex versus the Distortus. The T-Rex is definitely a little smaller, not crazy smaller. This sizing is interesting to me. We'll see how accurate that ends up being. This is the Tail Thrash Spinosaurus. I doubt this sizing is accurate. The Spinosaurus just comes across way too big, but it could end up being true. Just for fun, the Utah Raptor, one of my favorite dinosaurs of all time. No idea if it's gonna make an appearance in the film or not, but it's a cool figure that I definitely decided to pick up. The Bite and Blast Mosasaurus is definitely a lot bigger. I doubt we'll see these two characters interact, but that sizing could be accurate, but I really have no idea. Here is the Hammond Collection T-Rex. Obviously I have the Rex in a pretty low position. He can stand up a lot higher than that, she can, but there's that sizing. Just kind of seeing that this could end up again being an accurate sizing, or the Rex could end up being way smaller than the Distortus. I really have no idea at this point. And here's the Hammond Spinosaurus. I had gotten a request for this specific size comparison in a comment on an earlier video, so hopefully you're in the comments checking out this video. There's the sizing of the Hammond Collection Spinosaurus. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Jurassic World Rebirth Distortus Rex Rumble and Rampage. Definitely a fan of this figure. I'm wondering what your guys' thoughts on this figure are. How's this rank in terms of all the Jurassic World Rebirth figures we've gotten? Is this kind of toward the top? Is it toward the bottom? Have you guys picked it up? Are you going to pass? Just let me know your thoughts on everything regarding this figure in the comment section below, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you in the next one.